There's no mystery involved what's happening now in Capitol Hill in Seattle, Washington State. The University of Washington, you got the Western Washington University up north, where I went, the Vikings, climate change, feminism, and then you go out east and you got the new medical school at Washington State University. You've got academics, Pullman, and then the Huskies. Their biophysics and their mathematical neuroscience, their surgery, their world-renowned hospital for little babies and children called the Seattle Children's Hospital. And then their adult hospital. And the stories about the monkeys they would experiment with now. And a few extra breaths and a few words and some language and some letters and a sentence doesn't involve conspiracy. What's relevant has to do with the social housing and all of the free services that are now being implemented with taxes, social groups, community organizing, and the new standard to be allowed to live. The new and updated restrictions for being allowed to not die from starvation and hypothermia in the winter shelters, and not get lung cancer from the cigarette tobacco addicted observer who looks out for the crack dealer, the meth addict, and make sure nobody makes a wrong decision. In other words, 3 universities and colleges all connected and supporting this large, diverse, spectacular, and awesome transformation and revolution on planet Earth now. But unfortunately, not saying to the people that they are leading, they have refused to eliminate behavior. They have increased punishment. Not by jury, not by justice, and not with a lawyer, but tribally. And sadly, with the woman's eyes, the lady's ears, and the old girl's incompetence. Now, they achieve these goals with timing, attention, and awareness. They watch their wristwatch. They listen to their neighbor. And they watch their video cameras, monitors. Now, they say, no, you can't open your business. No, you can't sell stuff. You can't buy stuff. And you can't stop them from having their riot. You can't stop them from carrying machine guns, pistols, knives, and metal pipes. And when a person sings in the afternoon, when a person gets confused, when they start to hallucinate from the lack of options now, they're prescribed medication and they're given their freedom out the door in the sun, in the heat. And provided the right to camp with a tent, defecate in cat litter on a bucket in a park where only the animals and their rulers and their leaders and their dictators live and run now. So in other words, instead of this climate change activism, climate friendly location, Governor Jay Inslee says in his presidential debates, and what the mayor says was saying to the woman who's African American black and standing next to her with a gun on her hip, with another woman with 30 million red styled and painted warriors who are fighting to end hunger and poverty, have chosen to disregard the benefit of the smartest city, arguably, in this part of the world now, the Pacific Northwest. Trains going to Canada with research from doctors in hospitals up north, with names like Dr. Nordhoff, who have said brain, world, are more of a problem than your mind dilemma. And your mental health needs brain and body and functions better with a spontaneity. All the way down to Berkeley and Caltech, and then all the way over across with a nice airplane ride to Boston, to go to MIT, to go down to Oregon, in the work to heal not only the drug addict who stumbles and clumsily ignores their requirements to have consciousness, the cancer cure they've all declared, along with their rules and their restrictions and their limits for the world, doesn't matter. The cancer survivor saying, I don't want you to treat me anymore. I want to fix the problem. I want to work and I want to solve. Gets labeled a schizophrenic, mere talking to the self, who's emotionally unstable and distinctly unprepared to not have some help, and who needs a service animal like the pussycat, kitten, furry critter down the elevator. People have chosen to replace a system with processes with language, drawings, and explanations, and not chosen to eliminate their despair. Anybody can talk like Joe Biden, get some votes, and get loved by the whole planet. All you gotta do is observe, watch, listen, hear, keep track, take notes, recognize, adjust, and behave. Say words from the mouth and look pretty for all those around now. I moved out here almost 20 years ago now from Arizona. With a sister who wanted to go to the University of Washington to study speech therapy for her master's degree. And my dreams and my ambitions were for the Navy, for an officer candidacy program, and to eventually be a teacher when I got older for little kids. She went off and worked in restaurants. I worked with her in a few, and then graduated college in 2008. Stayed one more year when the Great Recession happened shortly after. And now the pandemic, coronavirus, possible great second depression, an immense, huge recession. And am forced to sit at home with uncertainty about the house I've built with my hands now, indoors. and say what I'm saying now with the language I'm using now to say the letters. Now. The end.